Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Blackjack Brief. Blackjack Wade here. This is just something that's sort of one of those shouldn't be stressful, shouldn't be one of our stresses and strains that we talk about on this program all the time. Shouldn't be anything like that, but unfortunately it is. It's been eating at me. What in the world happened to LinkedIn? Think about the evolution of LinkedIn and what it used to be versus what it is today. It was such a useful. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't like impactful in a huge way, but it was important to us because in the early days of LinkedIn, the initial purpose was basically a professional networking platform for job seekers and hiring people, hiring managers. The value prop was simple, professional connections, facilitating career opportunities, and some knowledge sharing. But it wasn't about that. It was just really like, here's my resume. You replicated your resume as part of your profile and your history. And then, of course, you can, put your resume out there. But most of the time, people just look at your profile. And that was going to be the gating factor on whether they were interested in talking to you. And then all of a sudden, well, maybe not all of a sudden, maybe it was gradual, but it certainly became just another social media platform. I mean, as if we didn't have enough of that. This was at the height of, Facebook, and Instagram was new and Twitter was new. And all of a sudden, here's this other one that we got to keep up with, right? Another source of stress of, are we looking good online? Are we so much cooler online, as Brad Paisley said in the song? All of a sudden, user posts became about promoting their new job, their new achievements. It became social media, more just braggery in the professional sense. Like, it's like all the stuff we don't want to see when we go to LinkedIn, we're now seeing on LinkedIn. Got the emergence of personal posts. Unrelated to professional life. It was just Facebook all over again. The trade show culture. Oh, it became just post after post after post of you standing in a booth or standing on a convention floor with your buddies you currently work with or used to work with. It's so great to catch up with this great guy. Look at me, look at him. A bunch of selfies all of a sudden start showing up. It was just become just another social media platform. I mean, how many of them do we need? And then LinkedIn played along. They started with their, gamification of the algorithm. So the more activity, the better, right? It became more of a quantity over quality type thing. People just constantly searching or posting things that too frequently and no value add. Let's put it that way. Because LinkedIn used to have a lot of value add. And then one day I see this. It wasn't a post. That's not true. I was in between jobs, as everyone who's listened to this program knows. And I'm sitting there talking to someone about the ineffectiveness of LinkedIn for promoting oneself to the proper people who you want to talk to or may want to talk to you. You just get lost in this sea of just spam posts. And I was saying, I feel like I have a pretty solid resume for our industry, and we're not a huge industry, so my skill set, I thought, had, still value to hiring managers. And his question was, how often do you post? And I said, what difference does that make? And come to find out, it makes a huge difference, because that's actually how you raise your ranking on LinkedIn, is by putting more posts out, which in my mind become spam posts. Well, I don't have the interest to continually post on any social media platform for that matter. If you see promotions for this podcast, or you see promotions for my puttingissimple.com or anything that I do online, it's never anything in the personal realm. It's promoting something that I'm doing for fun or doing for side hustle or just doing out of a passion project. And I couldn't believe he asked that question, but immediately it connected the dots for me. Here we go. Just another social media platform that unless you're posting, unless you're active, unless you're liking, unless you're commenting on people's posts back at them or sending them anniversary congratulations for 3 years with this company or 5 years with this company, it's just, it's the same thing as we deal with in all the other social realms online. And it's like, I thought LinkedIn was sort of the outlier. Like there was something that they're special about career development, as I mentioned, or looking for professional connections with people that might be interested in what I'm doing and what I might be interested in what they're doing in the professional realm. And now all of a sudden we're doing it. It's just mixed. It's just such a mixed messaging thing where you've got one, you think it's professional, but it just kind of evolves over into the personal, and it's awful. It's awful. And the only thing worse than that is from an awful perspective is Sales Navigator. And if you're a salesperson, you know what I'm talking about, because sometimes your company will even pay for it. So there's this hidden layer of what LinkedIn is doing behind the background based on who your contacts are. You might even have just a follow only type profile where you can't actually connect with someone. But somehow the algorithm behind the scenes is figuring out what your title, based on who you're connected to, based on what company you work for or own or whatever. Now all of a sudden, behind the scenes, it's kind of building these org charts. It's finding more direct contact information, whether that be email or phone number. So those that are out there in the sales world who are paying for Sales Navigator now have this deeper level. And I think it's like $100 a month, but don't quote me on that. It's expensive. But if you're just a person who needs contact information for companies so you can spam the hell out of their email, it's the perfect tool to do so. But I can't imagine how the receiver of those spam emails constantly feel, because someone's paying $100 a month to get that layer deeper information about you, and now they can just stack up your inbox with whatever they want, and all it takes is $100 a month. Is it effective? Is anyone actually paying attention to those emails that come in out of nowhere? Hey, would love to meet with you. The email love letters, as I call them. All of a sudden, you've just got 100 more emails a day because someone paid for Sales Navigator to get to your email so they can cold email outreach to you. It's just diminished the professionalism of it. Searches and rankings people are raised up in those rankings because of how much they post, not how much value they're bringing or how well they're doing at their job or how many years of experience they have. It's just, it's made those who try to use LinkedIn for what it was originally designed to be, and it's becoming much less meaningful. And then you add in what recruiters are using. I'm sure they're all subscribed to Sales Navigator, but they're using AI type scraping technologies to then only sort of filter who they want to look for to pair with the postings of another company. And that might be both of them he found online. So a recruiter could be scraping, using Sales Navigator, finding people with certain skill sets in their profile and scraping job postings from LinkedIn, also using Sales Navigator, getting to the people that are actually doing the hiring and just playing the middleman where they don't know either one. They don't know the company that's hiring, nor do they know the candidates. And now it's become so overcrowded. I wish it wasn't. But what it ultimately means is we're going to lose our faith. We're going to lose our trust. It's reducing the credibility of the platform, and that's unfortunate because I think if we went back to the early days of LinkedIn, as I mentioned, the initial purpose being designed as a professional networking platform for job seekers and job hirers, if it hadn't become a popularity contest in the professional world, and it bleeds over into the personal world as well, as I mentioned, then we would probably still use it for what it is. But what it's become for me, I have user fatigue when it comes to LinkedIn because I just can't stand scrolling to see what might be new with a company that I'm following or a particular job opening that I had noticed, and I was following that. I have to scroll through so many things, and the main feed page is every bit as just makes me sick at my stomach. It just is so sickening that we've become another social media platform. I mean, just from off the top of my head and not even in my notes, you got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got Truth Social, you got TikTok, you've got X, formerly known as Twitter. And then you go to the video platforms, you've got YouTube, you've got Rumble, it's just so many things to keep track of when the reality is we just wanted a useful utility for an online presence for your resume or your CV, as everyone's now calling it. All the cool kids are saying it. Why it's become just that instead of being what it originally was is simply money. I'm sure there's advertisements, and I'm sure they're feeding me ads for companies or offerings or whatever that are in my interest feed, if you will. I mean, it's just another means of marketing. I can't really blame them, but at the same time, break that off. Have like the social plus version of LinkedIn and have the professional only version. I don't know if that's realistic because obviously it's making tons of money on the social plus side of things. But I wish there was just a simple, and maybe that's where the Indeeds of the world, the job posting sites are truly sticking to just that. But I'm going to stay with what I originally said and called this episode, What Happened to LinkedIn? It seemed to me that it was a good thing for both parties, both them and the users, and now it's become just a mess. And I really wish it hadn't. It would have been much more pleasing for the last 15 years to know that was where my resume lived, where the job seekers could find me, could see my profile, full background, could contact me. I had to accept their invitation. They had to accept mine. Those were the good old days. Now, Sales Navigator, you don't even need to have a connection with a person. Don't have to have connected with you or accepted your invitation. They've simply paid for it. And welcome to your inbox, I guess. So that's my little beef on LinkedIn. I think it could still be done right. I don't know that it ever will, but this one's been stuck in my head for a while, so we had to record it with the new setup here. So hope you enjoyed it. This Blackjack Brief. Feed any comments back to me at host@blackjackwade.com. And this is Blackjack Wade signing off.